Hi, everybody. Welcome to the post-race press conference. Sorry, this is Atlanta Motor Speedway, the first of 3 races here. 450 class. Congratulations to Eli Tomac, Chase Sexton, and Cooper Webb in the 250 class. Nate Thrasher, Justin Cooper, and Cameron Mcadoo. Congratulations. Nate, I'm gonna come to you first. It's been an hour and a half now, or almost 2 hours maybe, since your main event. Just what's it feel like, man? I mean, when you woke up today, did you have any idea this was gonna happen? And now that it's happened, just what's it feel like? Let us know how you've taken this.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, we got off to kind of a good start to the day and time qualifying, and we only had 6 or so laps on the track today. So you just kind of had to learn the track and adapt quickly. And second time qualifying got canceled, so we had a decent gate peg going into the night, and we knew we could make that work. And then had a little troubles in the heat race, a couple crashes, but had good speed in the heat races. So I felt like I was going to be a good night. I just needed to get in the LCQ and make good work, and got through that, and ended up winning the night. And the surreal moment for sure. I've dreamed of this my whole life pretty much. So it's not sunk in yet, but it'll probably be tomorrow. So we'll just take it day by day, and then we just got to keep getting better. I mean, there's still things to improve on. So we got to be ready for Tuesday and then Saturday. That's a good thing about these 3 races back to back. You don't really get time to sink it in. So you just know you got to put your head down and go back to work.
Well, congratulations, and yeah, take it all in, man. It was a great ride for you today.
Thank you.
Jason Wygant, we'll start with you.
Yeah, thanks, Jason Wygant from RacerX. This question is for Chase Sexton. Just take me through. Unfortunately for you, you had a great race going. 90% of it you had won. Take me through coming to the white flag, the tangle up with Clayson, and then you couldn't jump a jump even after that. So just tell me how that all broke down.
Yeah, it was really good race for me. Everything was going well. Obviously, Aaron went down, so that was unfortunate for him, but ended up giving me the lead. And from there, I kind of just kept putting in my laps, and I really felt like I was putting in solid laps. And I didn't know, I couldn't tell if it was Eli or Jason Anderson, because they both were wearing kind of the same gear. And so it ended up being Eli, obviously, but I knew he was coming. I saw him out of the corner of my eye, kind of in some corners, and I was really struggling in one set of the first set of whoops, which was costing me time. And I feel like I was good on the back half of the track, and Eli would catch me in the front. So I was riding a really good race and felt like I was doing consistent laps. And then Eli pretty much he dropped the hammer with, I don't know, probably 4 or 3 laps to go, and pretty much sucked up right in my rear wheel. And I feel like still I had a decent amount of energy left, and I feel like I was riding really well again. And I just, Cade, I jumped inside trying to just get around him really quick, and I knew Eli was right there. So in that next corner was pretty vulnerable to getting just a stop before that double and block passes. So I wanted to get through those 2 corners really quick. And honestly, the one after that, my mechanic Jade put on the pit board 2 laps to go, and I was like, okay, I thought I saw the white flag I thought the race was over, and then I saw Eli keep going. I'm like, the race isn't over. So I rolled the next jump, and then obviously the race was over after that. But it was just not the best ending, but first 450 podium, which was a positive. And after the year I've had, it's nice to be on one of these calls again and back on the podium. So it was a really good night for me. Track kind of suited me. Obviously it was tough, but looking forward to Tuesday and try and keep this train going.
Michael Antonovic.
Cool. Thank you, Daniel. Michael Antonovic with Swap Moto Live. This question is for Eli Tomac. Eli, you were right behind that lead group of AP, Chase, and Cooper up until Aaron crashed. And it seemed like maybe this is coincidence, but right after he went down and you saw that his big lead disappeared and Chase was ahead, it seemed like you really dropped the hammer then and upped the intensity. Was that coincidence, or did you realize, hey, I can really make a shot at the win?
Yeah, I mean, you said that the way the race was. I mean, Aaron was pretty far out, pretty far out. I was pretty nervous. I'm like, I don't know if we're going to end up catching him. So once he went down, there was a little extra hope, right, to the lead of the race. And to be honest, I was I felt like I was getting better as the race went on. I found, a couple better lines in both sets of whoops. And that was it. Finding some more lines, Aaron going down, and kind of giving me like that hope, right, to make the push to the end. So that's the way it was. Was happy with everything, motorcycle wise, and turned into a hell of a track by the end of the day.
Cool. Thank you.
David Iser. Might be froze up there. We'll get back to you, Iser. Steve Giberson.
Hey, for Eli, how do you approach a race like today where you know, you've got limited practice, you think you've got another qualifying session, and then you know, that one goes away, you know, very limited time on the track, and a lot to learn out there. What was it like? Were you still figuring it out during the main event time?
Yeah, it was hard. I mean, you hit the points right there. It was a longer track, right? I mean, it was basically 2 tracks in one. So having one practice was tough, you know, and the laps are so long, you only got a few laps, right? So we were getting cut laps because it was so long, and then we only had 1 practice. So, and I was pretty notchy in that practice. I mean, I overshot the second double on that finish line lane, and oh my gosh, you know, like smashed my face. Anyway, not that matters, but the whole practice I was missing rhythm. So I don't know, got my act together more in that heat race. And like you said, it's tough, you know, but the good thing is you're like, hey, everyone's in the same boat.
David Iser. He throws it up.
Thanks, Daniel. This one's for Cooper Webb. Cooper, obviously the race strategy changed with Kenny's start. Can you hear me, guys?
Yep.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Okay.
you're good.
Cooper, this is for you. Maybe your race strategy after Kenny got a bad start, not charging maybe towards the end of the race there. Was that part of the bike or just all race strategy, how comfortable you felt during the race?
I mean, honestly, I wasn't really thinking about it too much. I mean, I saw he was pretty far back. So in my mind, it was kind of a sigh of relief, I guess. I mean, and I put myself in a great opportunity to be up front. And honestly, yeah, just kind of rode like crap, to be honest, for myself. And was struggling with some lines and just kind of riding tight and made a lot of mistakes. So at the end of the day, I was happy to still be on the podium. Kind of felt like I left a lot out there, though. You know, I felt like I was in a great situation and didn't take advantage of it. So a little bummed on that aspect, but overall, the big picture, you know, it was great for the points, and to be on the podium on a day that you're struggling is always a huge plus. So yeah, we'll take it.
All right, thanks, Coop.
Dark side.
Coop, mine's for you also, Cooper Webb. A lot of talk lately about mind games and where you and Kenny are at mentally, whether you're inside his head or not. It was the focus of the latest Red Bull Moto Spy series. At the end of that thing, towards the end, Kenny made a comment about, you know, it just takes one of these guys to have a bad race and I'm back in it. And that kind of made me feel like he's already out of it unless one of you has a bad race almost. What do you think about that comment? Or I may be looking too much into it.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, I know where I'm at, you know, mentality wise and moving forward, what I need to be at, you know, with these races left. And I mean, obviously it comes down to the later in the season. It's easy to overthink, but yeah, I mean, I'm just doing what I can and trying to get those good starts like I did in the main and put myself up front and honestly contend for wins still. I feel that's the goal. And so anyway, yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, we've heard all kinds of comments from him this year. So, you know, you don't know what he's thinking. I know what I'm thinking and my strategy. And I guess that's all I really try to focus on.
Thanks.
Anthony Sansota.
Yeah, hey guys, this one's for Justin Cooper. Anthony Sansota here with MotoOnline.com. Not the best start to the day for you. Didn't get your typical top of the time sheets there in practice. You had the heat race crash. How are you feeling after that, being able to gain points as you walk away from the day?
Yeah, really pumped on it, actually. it did started off good in practice. It was pretty cool, the track. Like, we got to ride it dry, and it was pretty, like, caught off guard with how, like, actually big it was and how many sections there were. So really didn't get to adapt to it much, and didn't feel that comfortable out there. So I think we got a total of like 6 or 7 laps, and then we got straight into racing. And I just ended up getting some wheel spin off that first double. I should have been a little bit more cautious on the first lap, but yeah, I ended up going down pretty hard, and that one definitely hurt. And kind of just ran off adrenaline through the heat race. And then for the main event, I was feeling pretty banged up. So it was good to get through that main with good points. And yeah, I look forward to recovering for Tuesday.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
The big.
Yeah, this is Stefan Graham with LeBigUSA.com. That's the question for Nate. How do you explain that everything clicked today and you won that race? Why today?
Yeah, I think it was just I was feeling good all day. I mean, we had a little 3-week break there. We put in a lot of work, and I just started things clicking, and 2 big set of whoops today, and I felt like I was really good at them. So we just clicked away every lap in the whoops, and that gave me the lead that I needed to win. And it was just a lot of people were trying to jump, and it just wasn't working. So skimming was the way for me, and I skimmed the whole main and felt like it was the best way to get around the track.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Trent, Moto Limited.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. Trent Moto Limited show. This one's for Cameron Mcadoo. Cameron, you had a big crash in the heat race, and then he went down again in the main, unfortunately. How are you feeling after that, especially crashing in the concrete there in the one in the main? Must have been pretty tough, but to fight through the day, you'd be pretty happy with the podium too.
Yeah, I mean, the whole night show, I kind of felt like I was wrecked. Like, obviously it's not good to go down in your heat race and in your main event, but I was lucky that I was able to salvage the heat race with the way my bike was. It was muddy, so we could at least, like, everyone was slowed down a little bit. But yeah, the main event crash was really dumb. Like, I had a little mistake in the whoops, and I just kind of got sideways and went in between the tough blocks, and I thought there was more clay where I was at to turn off of, and it was concrete. So a little skinned up, but I mean, I'm obviously, with a crash in the main event, to come away with third, like, that's, pretty good points, but we want better, and, like, we want to be better. So I didn't feel like I was my best version of me tonight, and that was a little bit frustrating for me.
Awesome. Thanks, heaps.
Revista Moto.
Thank you, Dan. Hey, this is for Eli Tomac. Eli, a few weeks ago, you said that it was essentially a 2-person race at the 450 level, and you sort of discounted yourself from the championship. Do you now feel differently in light of tonight and the next 2 races at a similar track?
I don't know. I'm still ways out. I'm ways out. I mean, I'm still 36, so it's still out there. Anything can happen, of course. And that's it. All I can do is try to win. The good thing is I feel like I am, or have advantage, right, on this type of track. So we'll see how it goes into Salt Lake and in the next few rounds.
Thank you.
Steve Mathis.
A question for Eli, I guess, because you're the most experienced guy out of everybody here. We've obviously done Daytona a lot, and that's a really unique, special place. This one was like Charlotte back in the day, that before your time. Would you like to see more of these type of speedway races, longer laps, more Supercrossy? I don't consider Daytona on this kind of track, but do you want to do more of these?
Eli Tomac likes these races. I just don't know what everyone else thinks. That's it, right? I feel like, yeah, there is more. There's more room. Just period, right? There's more room. It's more high speed, so some guys might not like it, but there's more room to make passes. You're not stuck in one line, in as many areas, and just bigger track, right? So yes, I would like to have more, but this year's unique where we're gonna have 3 here. So I don't know, maybe one of these added on with Daytona would be cool.
Brad Gephardt.
Thank you. Brad Gebhardt, Big MX Radio. This question is for Chase Sexton. Chase, take me through your learning curve of not only riding the 450 in Supercross, but racing the 450 in Supercross, which can be a completely different bag of worms than racing in the 250 class.
Well, from my past few races, it's been pretty tough. Just been on the ground quite a bit. Not usually one to crash that much, and I guess it just goes to show how tough it is to race a 450 at this level. The tracks are probably the most surprising how gnarly they get, and that's where Cooper and Eli and a lot of those guys are just really good at adapting to the rougher track, and I haven't quite yet figured it out. But yeah, it's been a really fun time, even though I have hit the ground quite a bit, and just happy to just keep learning every race. I think if I can take something out of each round, I think we're going in the right direction. So for me, just being able to be healthy and still racing right now is it's positive, and just trying to learn as much as I possibly can from the more experienced riders in this class.
Fair enough. Like, you show a lot of speed, but then also have a propensity to hit the ground every once in a while. Is there anything specifically about the 450 that you're just struggling with a little bit here and there as far as where to put the machine?
Yeah, I would say my speed hasn't been an issue. Obviously, I've qualified really good, and it has some good heat races. For me, I think the 450 you have to pay attention, I would say, a lot more than the 250, just having that much more power, especially obviously the sand sections have got the best of me this year, but just where you don't have as much traction, there's a lot more power to the rear wheel, and that's where I was a little lazy, and that's where I've obviously had a little bit of problems. So for me, just trying to be 100% focused for that 20 minutes and not take any breaks has been the most important part of me trying to learn this 450 class. And again, the tracks get really gnarly, so that just the 250 class main event compared to the 450 race is like a totally different track. So for me, I'm still learning that, and yeah, Eli he's the man when it comes to finding those lines late in the race as of right now. So yeah, it's just fun to learn and fun to race with these guys.
Awesome, thanks. And now Daniel, back to you.
Dan Lamb.
Yeah, I'll go to Nate. Heading into this weekend, I mean, your best race so far this year has been a 9th. You'd struggled going into this. I mean, a few LCQs or a couple LCQs. At this point, had you been getting frustrated, or did you just know that it would possibly be coming and you felt like it was coming soon?
No, I mean, I've been a little frustrated. I've been dealing with a little bit of arm pump in the mains. So I felt like I've had good speed. I've run up in the top 5. Just did a little bit of arm pump late in the motos has kind of had my downfall, but we've been working really hard on the bike, and we've got it really good right now, and it's kind of went away. So I feel like that's one of the things that has put me a little bit higher now. In that 3-week break, we really worked hard trying to get a little bit better and late in the motos and just be better overall. I mean, we've worked on the whoops a lot too. So I think that was the key of Supercross pretty much. If you can hit the whoops better than everybody else, you got a good chance to win. So, I mean, that's pretty much what we've been working on. So I feel like it's helped us be better in this week, and then we just got to keep it going.
Nice. Well, congrats on skipping the whole top 5, then podium, then win. Just get right there. Congrats, man.
Thank you.
Jonathan McCready.
Jonathan McCready, GetDrop.com. Just a question for Cooper Webb on pressure. You always seem to be able to deliver. I know you weren't happy with your ride tonight, but you produced a start when it really mattered. And you've done it as well in the middle of a race where you don't seem to have the pace, but you find the pace. It's almost like you will yourself to go quicker. Is that what's happening, or do you have mental strategies that you put in place to be able to produce whenever the big moments arrive in these championship races?
I mean, yeah, I feel like it's situational to a sense, like every race is a different situation depending on where you qualify, how you're feeling that day, how the bike is. I mean, there's so much to it. And obviously in our class, there's so many good guys. So yeah, I just feel like I'm good at blocking out the noise, I guess, and being able to, however qualifying went or however the heat went, just being able to put that behind me and focus on the main event and what I got to do to execute. So, tonight the start was key, and I nailed a really good one. And like you said, I was kind of struggling a little bit, but I knew the guys were behind me and just trying to, ride my pace. And once they kind of got around me, it was tried to hang for a little bit, but just
stuck.
May have lost him.
You there?
Yeah, we're here.
Sorry, was it cutting out?
Yeah, a little bit. Your phone's sideways. Try to. There we go.
I guess it's, like I was saying, it's more situational, and I try not to focus on, practice or heat race or whatever it was, and just try to execute in the main, and usually helps with a good start, and just adapting to the track. I think like Chase says, it changes so much in the main event that you got to be able to adapt, and usually the guys that adapt can win the race, I think, as we saw tonight. And so yeah, it's just kind of having that experience, I guess, of knowing what I need to do, and kind of, I don't know what it is, but I just feel like when the main event comes around, it's go time.
And just on the rivals, do you change your strategy based on each rider you're racing, in terms of how you pass them or how quickly you go to pass them whenever you catch them?
For me, I do. Yeah, like every guy you race is different, and I try to know everyone's weaknesses, their strong points, and what to expect. So I mean, that's something that, once again, is kind of situational, who you're racing against, knowing their pros, their cons, how they're going to race you. I try to think how they would think, when they're behind me. So yeah, I mean, that's something that maybe is something I do that other people don't. I don't really know, but that's just how I've always kind of done things. So yeah, I guess knowing your competitors is important.
That's great. Thank you.
Nick, Moto Limited.
Yeah, so this will be for Justin Cooper. So, Justin, you guys probably got the driest track of the day, being first up in the morning. Now, obviously, you guys were the first one on the track after the rain. How different was that track to put together, and does that contribute to the crash you had? How different was that track and sort of the setup you had to go into the night show with only doing a handful of laps on the track?
Yeah, 100%. It was like complete opposite. We had the dry, dusty stuff in the beginning, and then we had like 5 hours off, and then we went straight into the heat race, which was mud. So pretty sure that had something to do with my crash, but I just had to be more careful in the first lap. That was kind of stupid on my part, and really could have hurt myself worse. So definitely was pretty bummed about that, but was pumped on my comeback and was able to almost get back to the lead. So that was pretty cool, and gave me a good gate pick for the main, and was able to put in a solid ride. And the track was definitely tough tonight, and it was good to get through it. Those whoop sections were pretty gnarly, and really couldn't figure them out. So saw Nate was skimming them, and he was pretty checked out after the first lap. So it was good to see him win, and it was a good 1-2 for the team.
Absolutely awesome. Thanks, Daniel.
Let's loop back around. Jason Wygant.
Yeah, I want to ask one of the 250 guys about the heat race conditions, kind of like we just did. I'll go to you, Cameron Mcadoo. You don't get a sight lap, so you guys were just guessing, and I think the track looked better than it actually was. So when you're on the line, what are you thinking? Are you thinking you're going to jump the jumps or not? How do you know?
I wasn't really sure. Obviously, we were watching the first heat, and Justin was going double through the finish line section. I knew that, but most guys weren't. And you just really don't know. That's kind of like the question marks. Like I think I rolled the first double, and then I hit the first double or the second double of the finish line section. But then the double in the back section, I rolled it, and Hunter jumped past me. So then I was like, man, I need to be going a little harder, and the track's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. And then that bit me. So it is kind of a tough deal, and it was pretty obvious how slick it was when we were watching those guys. so yeah, it's a tough thing to, especially with those big jumps there were today. So, but yeah, the track actually ended up coming around pretty decently later on.
Michael Antonovic.
Thank you, Daniel. This one is for Eli Tomac also. Eli, we already know, we all joke about how your riding style really benefits a track like this, but as a 450 guy that, is riding a bike to the absolute limit at certain times, how is that type of track where it's bigger, the jumps are way, way bigger than what you guys are used to? Is this easier for you guys to ride, or is it a completely different mindset than, like, say, a 47 or a 50-second stadium track like we've seen this year? Like, does it allow you to really open up more and change a lot of stuff and feel more comfortable, or is it completely different?
It's just different, and it just it had more room in general, at least in my opinion. So, like I said, we had two lines in the whoops. I think most of us start on the right side of the whoops in that longer set by the finish, and then as the race went on, we were able to move over to the left side, right, and then we were skimming. So that was nice, and yeah, just more room. We had a good room in the sweeper turn after that. Yeah, and for the motorcycle, it's just like it's more room period. So that's all I got to say.
Thank you.
David Iser.
Thanks, Daniel. This one's for Cameron Mcadoo. Cameron, other than that 100 yards of the track, you had the rest of it pretty much dialed. What did you learn about patience tonight, especially on a track in those conditions, going for a title maybe?
Yeah, obviously in the heat race, I think that was completely due to not being patient. It was pretty obvious on what happened on the crash. I really wanted to get back into the lead and stay clean, and that really bit me. But I honestly think in the crash in the main, I was really trying to commit to skimming the whoops, and I was trying to hit them on the far left side, and not many guys had gone there yet, so it was very, very muddy still. And the far right side was a lot of ruts from jumping them. So I just got a little bit sideways, and then I had the crash saved from as far as I could tell. And as soon as I got off the track, like I said earlier, right when I tried turning on the concrete, my bike went out from underneath me. So I wouldn't say that one was so much of patience. I could see Nate getting away a little bit, and I knew I needed to get around Garrett if I wanted to do anything, to stop that. So, I mean, yeah, I could say that there was a little deal with patience, but yeah, it wasn't ideal. Obviously, we lost more points, but could have been worse. So we'll read it for Tuesday.
What's slicker, plywood with mud on it or asphalt with mud on it?
Asphalt. I was on both of it. I was on grass, plywood, and asphalt tonight. So the asphalt's the slickest.
All right, thanks, brother.
Matt Williamson.
Thanks, Dan. This question's for Chase Sexton. It's kind of a secondary question to what was asked earlier. With you now on 450s, what is it like on a track like this? What are you looking for during the sight lap process, and especially on a track this large where it's impossible to memorize all of the different conditions?
For me, I was going out there. I was watching Nate in the 2D class getting through the whoops pretty well, and my main focus was trying to find a line, if there was one, that's smoother than the rest in the whoops that you could do every lap, because like I said, our mains are pretty long. Obviously tonight wasn't as many laps, but for me, I looked for just a good whoop pass and a nice line through there that will be repeatable and you could do every lap. So that was one thing I looked for, as well as just how the transitions are on the track. Because tonight it was obviously pretty soft, and they go out there and groom it, so it kind of covers up the really soft spots. So I was looking for that as well. But overall, I feel like this kind of track suits me with the ruts and whatnot. I haven't really raced a track this year. I missed all 3 indies that were pretty rutted, but overall, I feel like I've meshed well with ruts. And I grew up in Illinois in the Midwest, where it's we have all conditions. So for me, I felt like the track suited me, and like Eli said, it has a lot more room, and it's a little bit more open compared to what we're used to racing on, and I feel like it just creates more lines and more separation. So I think the track was good. Obviously, it came around really well for our main event. We were pretty close to where we qualified at time-wise. So, yeah, looking forward to Tuesday.
Awesome. Thanks, Chase. Thanks, Daniel.
Steve Giberson.
Steve Giverson with Vital MX for Chase. You mentioned that the track came around really well. Were you, given the amount of rain that we had today and everything else, were you kind of surprised that it got as good as it was for the main events?
To be honest, yes, I was. I mean, we had probably a 4-hour break in between for our only qualifying session and heat races, and it was, I would say, raining pretty much the whole time at a decent rate. So for me, I thought the track was going to be standing water, at least for the heat races, and maybe come around okay by the main event. But by no means I thought we were going to be skimming the whoops and doing pretty much everything we were doing in practice. So I feel like the track workers did a really good job, and I feel like this dirt in general soaked up the rain pretty well. Having that Georgia clay, I feel like it's red and it gets pretty sticky. So yeah, I feel like the track was really good in the main event. I think, like I said, it was almost normal. So yeah, hopefully we can keep that up, and hopefully the moisture stays in the dirt for the rest of these rounds.
Also, with the shorter main events getting shortened, would you have preferred that it had stayed longer, or that may have been a TV call or something like that, but would you have preferred it go the full length?
Yeah, for me, I mean, it didn't really matter. Eli was obviously coming pretty hard in the late stage of that race, so when I was leading, so I was like, I wish this thing was over now. But no, I mean, it was pretty close. I don't know what total time was because I haven't looked at it, but I feel like it had been pretty close. I mean, when you come by, the track is so long that when you come by at, say you come by, if the race is normal, you came by at 20 or 19:55, it'd be almost probably what, 24-minute main event. So I think that's why they cut it down to 18 minutes. I don't think it really had anything to do with the track, but just trying to limit it going over by a whole bunch. It had been somewhere close to 20 minutes tonight. So yeah, it wasn't really a huge deal, but yeah, for me, it doesn't really matter.
Thanks.
Dark side.
Hey, Nate. So we've seen obviously great improvements from you this season. Anything that you've taken away from your teammates or even like Will Hahn while at the practice track that's helped some of these improvements? Anything you just can talk about that has made a big difference?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, a lot of my teammates have won a lot. So like Justin here now, I can kind of watch what he does during time qualifying and stuff like that. I've struggled with that a little bit this year, just trying to get good laps in. And he's really good at that. So you can watch him and be better there. And just like Craig and Nichols and all them, they've won a lot of races this year also. So they kind of know how to win. So everybody at the team, I feel, knows how to win. So you can kind of take every piece from them and just listen to it and try to build. And you can you just can listen, and that's all you can really do.
Right on. Thanks.
Guys, I'm going to sneak in 2 questions and then we'll call it. Cooper Webb, first one's for you. We mentioned in the broadcast that you were on the outside of the doghouse. First off, what were your options? Was there anything inside available at all? And second off, when you were out there, was there any concern that you were not in the best spot being out there and you really needed to get that jump out? So just kind of take me through that choice and then kind of the thoughts you had on the gate before the gate dropped.
Yeah, I mean, with the 5th in the heat or whatever, being 9th pick, you're kind of limited to what you get. So was just looking around. I mean, you wanted to be probably more in the middle, obviously, but yeah, I saw the guys that were on the inside, and I just it was too far in. So I went outside of the box. The rut was good, and honestly, when I got there, I was pretty stoked. I was like, man, this is actually a pretty good gate. Is if I execute, I could probably hole shot, and yeah, it worked out well. Came around second, and yeah, got lucky, but I was so obviously had to execute, because if you don't, you're probably coming out pretty bad. So yeah, it was important to dial in that start for sure.
Awesome. Last one for Nate. Early in your championship, Styles Robertson gets a podium, Hammaker gets a win. Obviously, they're rookies like you guys growing up racing each other. Was there any concerns from you just with their development happening quicker than yours? Was there any kind of those thoughts early on? And then second off, if there was, like, how did you kind of work your way through that? Because I feel like that could be defeating sometimes, but you've kind of gone the other way. You've gotten better and better, and now you get a win. So.
Yeah, I mean, not really. I mean, we've raced each other, but they've always been a couple classes or a class ahead of me. I mean, like Styles is pretty much like my best friend, and we were at Alden Baker's together for a little bit. So we were pretty close. So yeah, he was always in the A class and I was in the B class last year. So it's kind of not really racing each other, and then Hammaker's always been 2 years older than me in those kind of classes. So not really, but yeah, I mean, you want to do better than all the rookies, obviously. I mean, you want to be the best guy out there. So you try to put yourself up there, but I wasn't really concerned how they were doing. I knew it would come. And we've not been on Supercross, but this year, so this is my first year doing it. So obviously we just got to keep building every weekend, and that's what we've been doing. I felt like we've had better rides than we have finishes, if you could say that. So I feel like we've been building every week, so we just got to keep getting better.
Awesome. Congratulations, guys. And again, rest up. We'll see you in a couple days here for a Tuesday night race. Thank you.